It had begun, a disaster to shake the heavens and the earth. Be it veteran or recruit, those laden with sin or those free of vets, equally their lives were taken. With each flash of light, a life was extinguished. For those unfortunate enough to have time to think, they realized that the Pharma's kingdom had brought upon themselves the wrath of a god. Hello, one and all, is my review of that Time Reincarnated Slime, Season 2, Episode 10, and oh my freaking god, this episode was amazing! Oh my freaking god, it was amazing! I mean, a lot of people were saying last episode was the worst episode of the series, but this episode, it was probably the best. It was probably the best. I mean, every character had a chance to shine, a chance to fight, and it looked so amazing, and, you know, the cherry on top was the ending, Megiddo, Rimuru's ultimate spell, his ultimate weapon. Oh, I loved it. In less than a minute, 5,000 people were killed by it. In less than a minute, 5,000 people were killed by Rimuru. And they definitely deserved it. They definitely deserved it. I mean, seriously, start the episode, these soldiers talking about how they're going to go into Tempest and force themselves on a bunch of women and then loot their valuables, which, yeah, pretty sure that's a war crime. Meanwhile, the king is taking an afternoon nap on his solid gold throne in this mini throne room that he had constructed on the battlefield. God, I hate him. Right now. And a lot of people online are complaining these soldiers actually got off too easy. You know, their deaths were essentially painless. Oh, no, my silly little friend. Those 5,000 soldiers, they were the lucky ones. The 15,000 who still remain, they will have seen their brothers in arms fall all around them, and they will realize that there is nothing they can do. There is no running away. There is no escaping. There's no fighting back against the wrath of a god. And so they will fall to their knees and they will pray. And it doesn't matter whether they pray to their god or to Rimuru, they shall die all the same. Oh, I love it. And just the coldness of this counter going up. 1,000 dead, 2,000 dead, 3,000 dead. Oh, that was so freaking amazing, so dark, I loved it. And a lot of people online are wondering if Raisin's going to be a threat to Rimuru now. Wait, Raisin? Rosin? I'm going to say Ramen. A lot of people online are wondering if Ramen's going to be a threat to Rimuru now, and, you know, that's a fairly good question. He had a nuclear spell set to go off as soon as he died. Yeah, that's not figure of speech. They actually mean a spell with the power of a nuclear bomb. That is a terrifying level of magic. A terrifying level of magic. And he's set to go off as soon as he dies? Seriously? That's some Cold War era madness right there. And now he has a young, powerful body with all of Shogo's skills, you know, survival and berserker, which puts him at a whole new threat level. I do love that it's basically explained that the whole reason why Falmus is summoning otherworlders is to give Ramen their bodies and to give the knight their skills. Not really explained all well in the anime, but in the light novel and manga it's explained that the knight is also an otherworlder who has a skill called Spearhead, which lets him steal the skill of any ally that dies around him, though I think he's a limit of like 5 or so. So he wanted the skills from those other 3 otherworlders. I just love that, you know, they thought, oh, we're all this big, powerful, we're super important here in this other world. No, they were basically just resources meant to be used and then thrown away. Oh, I love it. It's also worded very weirdly in the anime, but it's said very clearly in the manga that this possession technique is a far cry from Ramen's master's technique, which is straight up reincarnation, which I am very curious about. I honestly have no idea who his master is, but definitely a very weird detail to include, so curious about that. And of course, then he brags about how he's strong enough to take on a demon lord, which, oh, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting to see. And it definitely reminded me of this little psychopath's line about how he loved making an opponent realize how outclassed they were. And then he got to experience that firsthand for a very, very long time. And I should probably explain a little bit more about this fight. Basically, he is an average level swordsman who has a very big head because of his skills. The first one, Severance, it basically sends out small needles of concentrated space which can cut through almost anything. Him launching his sword is more or less a distraction so his opponent doesn't see the needles of space being shot at them, which, yeah, very, very deadly, especially if you don't know it's coming. But Hakuro is far from average and knew it was coming, so he was easily able to deflect all the little bits of space. Yay! And then there's his second skill, Mind's Eye, which allows him to accelerate his thinking 300 times, which, yeah, very, very fast. The problem is, though, that his body can't actually move 300 times its normal speed. So, yeah, he was forced to watch very, very slowly as Hakuro cut off his head. And then the Mind's Eye, didn't stop, so he experienced hours and hours of his slow death, trying to figure out exactly what happened to him, trying to figure out exactly where he went wrong before he finally died of blood loss. Oh, I love that. I freaking love that. And he definitely deserved it. It was very upset in the manga that Kyoya intentionally attacked people and then left them barely alive so he could watch them suffer. Yeah, he was a monster. He was definitely a monster, and he did not get off easy. Very happy for that. And then Shogo, yeah, he didn't get off a whole lot better, though. Honestly, I almost felt bad for him when his friend's severed head was thrown at him, but... Oh god, Shogo sucks. Shogo sucks so badly. Seriously, he was crying almost in the battle, like, you're not allowed to use a weapon when I don't have a weapon. Don't you have any sense of honor? Like, what is wrong with you, Shogo? I mean, seriously, what is wrong with you? You attacked unarmed women and children, and now you're talking about honor? God, I hate you. God, I hate you. And then he killed his own comrade with his own hands. Yeah, that was, I mean, she was awful too. She definitely deserved to die as well, but it was still just, you know, really hard to hear as she cried out in her last moments, Mom. Oh, that hurt. That definitely hurt. And because of his skill of Berserker, he gets more power the more people he kills, and even more so if they are powerful people. So because she had a unique skill, he was able to unlock his own unique skill because of it, Survivor, which... yeah, bad idea. It basically made it so that he can regenerate. So Geld responded by just punching him over and over and over again until he begged for death. Oh, I loved it. I freaking loved it. And I think it was said more clearly in the light novel that Geld's attack didn't just attack his physical body, but attacked the soul itself. That's why Rimuru's pain nullification didn't do anything when Hinata attacked him, because the pain, the damage was inflicted on the soul itself. Yeah, I can't really guard against that. And it was just, you know, overwhelmingly terrifying seeing Geld attack like this over and over and over again. I freaking loved it. Though I do think the anime makes a slight mistake here. They refer to Geld as an Orc Lord. He is not an Orc Lord. His father was an Orc Lord. He is an Orc King. In terms of power, they're about the same, but Orc Kings managed to, you know, not go insane, which I also think is referenced here. You know, Geld became so overwhelmingly angry at Shogo for killing his own ally, when that's exactly what Geld's own father did. When he was an Orc Lord, when he was an Orc Disaster, he ate his own people, and Geld is still filled with a great deal of shame about what his father and what his people had to do when they were under the control of the Orc Lord's skill. And speaking of allies, what really raised the bar in this episode was the fact that it gave every character a chance to shine. I mean, even Gabiru and Gapta. I mean, Gabiru is far from a serious character, and this line he said normally would have sounded so cheesy, but felt so perfect here as he delivered the blow against the knights. I freaking loved it. And Gapta, you know, Gapta is an amazing warrior, and we did see that in this episode as he jumped from knight to knight, taking them out one after the other. Oh, I love that. I love that. But we usually don't see it because Gapta is, you know, he's usually too much of a coward to really show off those skills. And I just freaking love how they managed to keep him serious this whole episode. That was so amazing. And then the rest of them, you know, Benimaru had absolutely zero problem taking out 100 soldiers by himself. Oh, I loved it. It was just a flash, and suddenly they were all dead. The one last one standing there like, no one told us there were monsters like this here, as he's literally cut in half. Oh, that was fun. And Zoe... yeah, Zoe was much crueler, literally slicing him to ribbons with his steel wires. Oh, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. And that's become to Hakuro's words, you anger the person whose rage you should fear the most. And before we even get to Megiddo, just the anti-magic field that Rimuru created is so overwhelmingly large, the entire Formless Kingdom should realize right away, oh, we done messed up. We done messed up here. And Rimuru sets up for a few reasons. First off, he doesn't want anyone, you know, to be able to defend themselves, use Legion magic, something like that. But secondly, he also wants to make sure, you know, they can't teleport and escape. Which, you know, is primarily done to make sure that, you know, none of his food gets out, because he really wants to make sure he gets every last person, you know, sacrificed to ensure his evolution of Demon Lord, to ensure that Shion and the rest of them get revived. And secondly, though, he doesn't want anyone to know, you know, about the skill, because it is terrifyingly powerful, but it also has its weaknesses. For one thing, it needs sunlight, so, you know, if the enemy attacks at night or when it's raining, he can't actually use it. And the spell itself, you might be watching this thinking, oh, this is some sort of ultimate high-level spell that's requiring, you know, all the magic skills Rimuru has to keep running. No. This spell requires almost no magic. Basically, all he's doing is creating low-level water spirits and using them to create lenses of water, which can, you know, reflect and concentrate the light until it basically becomes a deadly laser beam. And you might be thinking, okay, if the spell is so simple, can other people use it? Technically, yes, they just need a supercomputer. Yeah, the calculations that are actually needed to hit the target every time are only possible because of Great Sage, because Great Sage is literally doing the math for him. It is a terrifying spell and something that only Rimuru is capable of doing, and I freaking love it. Definitely a good way to welcome, the birth of a new Demon Lord, which is also the title of next episode, and I am very, very excited to see that. But yeah, let me know else down below. What do you think of this episode? What do you think of Megiddo? Do you think Rimuru is going to spare any of the soldiers, or is he just going to wipe them all out? And let me know. Would you rather, be one of the first ones to be killed or one of the last ones to be killed here? I kind of feel like I'd rather be a first, but at the same time, witnessing the wrath of a god is something you can only really experience once in your life. So, heck, maybe I'd want to stick around to the end to see how it all plays out. What do you think of the 4 teams attacking the crystals, and which fight was your favorite? What do you think is going to happen next, and do you think Ramen is going to be a threat to Rimuru? Let me know down below. Be sure to like, subscribe to this video, and until then, peace!